I'm Veronica Switek, and I am the host of Ybor Flavors, a monthly show showcasing Tampa's National Historic Landmark District. Today, we are celebrating fall flavors, and we're going to start off here at the Don Vicente, a boutique hotel located in Ybor City. Come on in. We're now inside the historic Don Vicente, and I want to introduce you to Tessa Ybor. Tessa, hi, how are you?
Good, how are you? Good to see you.
Now, I have known Tessa and her family for years. Actually, her father, Jack Ybor, I met 13 years ago. I think he was the third person I ever met in Ybor City.
That is, I just learned that just the other day.
And Jack is a very colorful person, and you have a very famous hotel here. I was actually taking a tour and saw the article from your father, from the Tampa Tribune, that said, "From hospital to hospitality." What does that mean?
Well, the building was actually built in 1895 by Vicente Ybor, and he used it as his planning grounds, as a development corporation, per se. And then it lay dormant for several years, and the Gonzalez Clinic came in, which was essentially one of the first HMOs in America. It was between 75 cents and $1.25 a month for the entire family to have health care. So people were born here, they died here, they took tonsils out, kids lost their first teeth, so this place did a lot of good for the community.
How interesting is that? Now, was your father born here?
My father was not born here. However, I've had many uncles and aunts that were born here. We have tons of people that live in the community, including Vince Pardo that was born here. So it was definitely a good place.
Now, what inspired your family to open up a boutique hotel?
Wow, that's a good question. My dad has restored more historic property in Ybor City than anyone else. And this building, from the time that we moved into the community, which was in 1990, I believe, was the one that he really wanted. He really wanted, but he did 14 before this. And when he finally could get his hands on it, this building was a condemned building. It had fires, it had no floor. You could stand in the basement and look straight through the ceiling. It had pigeon poop that came up to here, so we had to wear moon suits to clean it all out.
Is that a technical term?
It's a technical term. And but this was his baby, and this was his dream, and this was his thought, and he brought it to life.
Well, it is absolutely gorgeous. This lobby is phenomenal. So I know it didn't look like this as the Gonzalez Clinic.
I don't think that it did. Really the only thing that the kids remember that were born here is the staircase, and they argue with us that it is the original staircase because they were so little and they used to play on it all the time. They dreamed it to be much bigger, but the staircase was really the only thing that we had when we moved into the building.
Now, speaking of the staircase, I've been to so many events here, from the mayor speaking to weddings to parties. You do a lot of events here. Tell me about that.
Well, we do a little bit of everything. Like you said, we do a lot of political things for the mayor and for the city of Tampa. For Ybor City, we do a lot of things for Ybor City. We do a lot of fundraisers, but we specialize in weddings and parties and events, but most of the time we do weddings, so I do almost one every single weekend.
Now, I know you're very involved, so do people contact you directly to go ahead and book an event? So how do you go through that process?
Basically, you contact the hotel, and we start from there. We send you the banquet information, then I do a site tour, I explain what we can and can't do, what our limitations are, and we do food tastings for the couples, and it just goes from there.
What about wine tastings?
There's always wine tastings going on here at the Don Vicente.
Very good.
Shivers are very much into wine.
That's good to hear. Last thing is, I always watch the Travel Channel, and you always hear about haunted hotels. Any haunted stories that you could tell us about here?
Well, we have had several ghost chasers come into the hotel just to check us out. The chandeliers are from the Bellevue Biltmore, which is another haunted hotel, and I believe that I did see a nice little spirit down in the basement one day. It was a Tuesday on like 2 o'clock.
Friendly, correct?
Friendly, very friendly, and so friendly that I almost hurt myself just trying to get out of her way. So it was very interesting. Nobody believes me, but I know that I saw it.
Well, I would love for you to give us a tour. We'd love to see more of this beautiful building. Where are we going now?
We are now entering the cafe side of the restaurant. This, from what we've heard, was the old maternity ward when we were the Gonzalez Clinic. The bar actually is probably the coolest part of this room because it is straight out of Seawolf. And I don't know if you remember Seawolf.
I never heard of Seawolf.
Seawolf was on Bush Boulevard, and when I was a little girl, that was the big night out. They had big peacocks outside, and the man, it was very gauche. The man that owned it faked his own death and ended up getting caught. And so everything went to auction. Of course, my dad buys everything in auction, so he's a big antique collector. So this bar came out of the old Seawolf.
Wow. I'm going to get some good luck from it.
Yeah,
right?
let's hope. Or I don't know, it could be bad, knock on wood.
And this was the maternity ward? Is that what you heard?
That's what we've been told, that this was the maternity ward, and that's really all the information that we have.
And what do you use it for today?
Today we use it for our weddings and our parties. A lot of times when we have 90 people or less, they can sit in the main dining room and then they can do the dancing and the partying in this room. We have the DJ. A lot of times we use this for just the food and the bar, and they dance in the grand dining room, and then we do a cocktail style event. So it wears many hats.
Okay, so we have the drinking and the dancing. Let's go to our room.
Okay. We're now entering one of the king-size suites. We have 16 guest rooms here at the inn. Some of them have balconies. And we have 5 rooms with double queens, and the rest are king-size.
Now, I love the decor. Are all the rooms decorated this way?
They're all very similar. They all have different chandeliers and different Persian rugs and different pictures on the wall. But most of them look exactly like this, with the big bed and 4-poster bed and or sleigh beds.
Ooh, you always love a good sleigh bed, especially in Florida. And look at that huge balcony. Now, some rooms have balconies, some do not?
Some rooms have balconies. All the rooms across the front have a working balcony. And this room actually is a little bit more special because it shares a large-sized balcony with the room next door.
Wow, well, that is perfect. Now, you didn't see the ghost up here, did you?
No, I actually saw the ghost in the morgue.
Really? Do you think we can take a tour of that?
Absolutely, if you're not scared.
Well, of course I'm scared. I still want to go. Let's go on down.
All right.
Wow, this is spooky. It actually feels like we're in a basement.
You are actually very right. You are in a true Florida basement, which you don't find very often here in Florida, correct?
Well, I'm from Buffalo. You have basements everywhere. I have not been in a Florida basement.
Well, I'm glad this can be your maiden voyage.
Well, thank you so much. And now, is this where you saw the ghost?
This is where I saw the ghost, and it was 2 o'clock on a Tuesday afternoon, and she visited me, and I hurt myself getting out of the picture, but it was a good experience. I've always known that we have good spirits here because my family didn't know much about the hotel industry, and we're doing so fantastic and so wonderful that there's got to be little guardian angels that are looking out for us.
Absolutely. Plus, you're a good family, and everybody loves you. Now, what did this used to be? Was this the morgue?
This really was. It served 2 purposes. I've heard that they did all their blood work down here, as well as it also was the morgue. So it had served 2 purposes.
That is so fascinating. And what do you do with it now?
Now we just throw a bunch of parties down here. I mean, this is the ultimate place for a really cool, loungy party. I mean, it's completely the antithesis of the upstairs. It's, the brick and the concrete floors is completely opposite.
Low ceilings, dim lighting.
Yeah, perfect for a Halloween party.
Ooh, maybe we could have a haunted house here.
Sounds good.
Or hide and
We don't
seek.
even have to invite any ghosts. We already have them here.
Well, I would like to go next door. I heard there's a great festival going on called Deep Carnivale.
I've heard of it. We're very good friends with David Audette, and I was heading that way myself.
Well, great. Do you mind if we go with you?
Let's go.
Here we are at Deep Carnivale, a festival or celebration of words. I'm not quite sure, but I think we should ask David Audette, who is the promoter who puts on this great event. David, very much thank you for joining us.
No, thank you for having me.
So how are you today?
I'm a little toasted today. We have 6 stages running here. The street festival here. We're at the Cuban Club where we have 5 stages. We have the children's area over in the Ybor room at the college, Hillsborough Community College, where I work.
But let's step back for 2 seconds. I've known you for a long time. I thought you were with HCC.
I am. I'm called the Special Projects Manager at Hillsborough Community College, right across the street here.
Also with the Artists and Writers Ball.
I'm the director, one of the founders and current director of the Artists and Writers Group. Incorporated, we're back. We used to do things here at the Cuban Club and in Ybor since 1977 or 8 until everybody started having children and stuff, and we took a hiatus. And then about 3 years ago, everybody said, let's do it again, and which they were talking about the famous Artists and Writers Balls that we used to hold here. Notorious, actually, but we had a 4-story building. We filled it with 3,000 or 4,000 people. I think before that we found out about fire marshals and all those things.
Notorious, what a great word.
Well, it is, because we probably did the most incredibly stupid things, like we would spray paint newspaper with highly flammable paint, and of course at that time people were allowed to smoke, and we did these huge things, and I learned that we shouldn't do that because there could be issues there, But it was a great costume ball. It was during the night parade here in Ybor City, and this is back when Ybor City was very in its nadir. It was very quiet here. There was very few stores open. And then along came all the activity that started, and then our ball sort of fell by the wayside. But now we're back doing something.
New events.
Yes, and this is actually an Artists and Writers Ball, only it takes place in the daytime, and it's free, and it's open to the public, and it invites everybody, whereas the balls were really for adults. And here we were able to still have decorations, doing art, doing visual art. We're doing literature in this case, because this is a celebration of writers and writing and words. And
that's the name, isn't it? It's Deep Carnivale, a celebration of words.
Yes, and we picked the word Deep Carnivale for a couple of silly reasons. One, to reference, I didn't want to say festival. We have the Festival of the Moving Image, which is our film festival.
When is that?
I'm trying to keep a thread of thought here. It's in April. April Fools it starts, and it's going to be humor and satire next year. In 2009 is going to be our theme. And that film festival, much like this literature festival, is somewhat unique in the world of film festivals, because you got to differentiate yourself. And Ybor is different, than many places in the world, at least in the United States. I mean, it's got the history, it's got the brick streets, it's got the lovely tree-lined avenue, we've got the classical architecture, and I just love Ybor City. So we try and also make our events that way, creative, interesting, historical, referencing things, and celebratory, because Ybor City I've always felt is very much about being on the street, being alive, enjoying, eating the good food, smelling good food, meeting good people of all races and colors and ethnic backgrounds.
And that's what we love so much about Ybor City, is its diversity. As I was touring the celebration today, I noticed the wide range of audiences that you have here. Who is your target audience for this event?
Well, it's a real interesting question, and it's a very simple answer. Everybody. It's very rare that I get to do an event that is for everybody. The film festival is really for, usually you've got to be of a certain age to love films, usually not a kid. The music symposium, again, is teenagers to adults. But this one is literature, and everybody has to know how to read. Everybody should know how to read. And it doesn't matter if you're one. If you're walking around here, no matter how short the little fellows are, they are probably learning how to read it. So my secret goal, as you know, if you work with children, is if you tell them you got to learn, you got to read, you got to, they're going to shut you down. They're going to blank you out and not listen to you.
So wait a second, are you trying to make reading fun and not let them know that they're learning how to read?
I am a teacher. James Stokely, quickly jump in here. This is Tampa's poet laureate,
Hi,
James Stokely.
Veronica.
How are you?
Hi there.
He just premiered his. He just premiered The Ladies of the Brick, which is his epic poem about the cigar factory all through Ybor City, and the women that rolled the cigars in them, and the dancers who danced at the Columbia, and a lot of different things.
What it was an epic personification of cigar factories as senoras, as flamencas. And after we brought them back as beautiful women, which they are, if you look at the Ybor cigar factory, etc.
I love him, very complimentary.
Thank you. Then we invited them to a dance at the Italian hall, the Italian club.
On 7th Avenue?
Italian. Yes, and that in essence was the piece. All of the lectors came back from the grave, and one was Facundo Accion, who was the only the only dark-skinned African-American lector to come to Ybor City, and he was quite popular. So I became Facundo Acción.
Wow.
And welcome back.
Well, now we are here today at the Cuban Club with a brand new festival celebration, which I hope goes on for many, many years.
Oh, yes. As long as there are people who love what the city of Tampa is all about, which is much. We have 10,000 stories to tell, and only 3 of them have been told so far, but we are trying to do better.
Well, I can't wait to hear the rest of the stories. David, anything else we should know?
Au revoir. Talk to you later, Dad.
Okay, man.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. See y'all.
Bye, guys.
Is there anything else you should know? I just want to say thank you to the Ybor City, to Ybor City Development Corporation. This wouldn't be happening without the corporation helping us with financing, because as much as we have good ideas, I can put all the energy into it and draw all these people together, and many people have worked together for free, because basically almost nobody gets paid, to do this great street festival. And so having that opportunity is very important, because it's easy to talk about it. People talk about, oh, let's do this, let's do that. But to get a chance to do it and not have to go out and try and beg people, especially in these economic times, to go and ask for a little money to make something. Now that it's started, we can go do that, because we got pictures, we got things to show, we've got people, we got testimonies, and we've got videos and all that stuff. And it'll be a lot much easier than bringing little drawings and I got this great idea. Well, a lot of people have great ideas, as you know. But thank you for letting us. Thank you, but thank Ybor City Development Corporation.
And I am so glad that this is the 2nd year. We look forward to a 3rd year. Now, I actually am going to go in and listen to one of the readings. A good friend of mine, Manny, he's actually doing a reading today.
Yes, okay.
And I want to make sure that I get to enjoy the celebration myself.
Okay.
And thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Okay.
So I'm going around and really enjoying Deep Carnivale. But then I found this little guy, and he was outside of HCC. So I came in to see what was going on. We are with Mike Cornelius. Mike, I'm Veronica with Ybor City Development Corporation.
Hi,
Ybor
Veronica.
Flavors.
Thank you for coming in.
So what a great, little entertainment area you have here.
Oh, it's a wonderful asset to Deep Carnivale. What we've done, we didn't get involved last year, but we've met with Dave Audette, and he asked us to come down and help to expand his literacy program here with Children's Future Hillsborough.
Now, what company or foundation are you with?
Well, we are funded by the Children's Board of Hillsborough County, and our name is Children's Future Hillsborough. We represent 21 organizations here in the Hillsborough County area, and they represent children from 0 to 8.
And now I see that you have a bunch of tables set up, and looks like they're from different countries.
They are from different countries. Thank you for noticing. They're all from countries of ethnicities that started and began Ybor City. So you'll see a lot of cultures that you think of when you think of Spanish and German and Italian, that you think of about Ybor City.
It really is the melting pot of Tampa.
It certainly is.
And what is your goal today?
Our goal is to promote literacy, number one, because we're here. But also, I think David had a motive in trying to bring more families to Deep Carnivale. And with this exposure, with all the cultural activities we're providing, it allows him a stepping stone to get those families out.
Now, what about fun? Because I see a lot of little kids, and they're running around, and they look like they're having a great time.
Oh, they're having way too much fun. As I think I told you earlier, it exceeded our expectations. We've been busy since 10 o'clock when it started, and the room has just been full ever since, with laughing and carrying on and a lot of dancing, and we're having a lot of fun here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Veronica.
You don't have to come to a festival to see local art. Let's go to a boutique here in Ybor City. We're now at the famous Casitas, which is right across from Centennial Park on 19th Street. We are here to visit a very dear friend, Sharon Rose, who owns the Mermaid slipper, who is truly a local artist that is very famous in Ybor City. Let's go on in. We're now inside the Mermaid slipper, and I want to introduce Sharon Rose. How are you, Sharon?
Hi, glad to see you, Veronica.
Thank you so much. I know it was very impromptu, but we were just over at Deep Carnivale, and I really wanted to stop in a local artist shop, and you are wonderful, and I love your shop.
Love to have you.
Okay, first thing, slippery mermaid, mermaid slipper. How did you get the name?
The mermaid slipper, it's very simple. I was on Davis Island, Figley, for 8 years, and my children helped pick the name, and when I moved, I'm going, I get to pick it. But the reason I chose it is, as an artist and designer, it's very hard to come up with a logo because everything has to be perfect. And I decided on mermaid slipper because it's something that you can only imagine. Nothing comes to your mind when you see it. And you see, Cinderella was a mermaid, and when she slipped off her shoe, she went to be a mermaid. It was a transition. And so it's like the slippers are hung up. You're no longer a dancer, you're a mermaid.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's my rendition of it.
Well,
Of Cinderella.
I love it. I love it.
People have loved the name. They come in just because of the name and go, we had to find out what this was. And I thought, perfect. I get lots more visitors that way.
And we'll always take more visitors.
Yes, that's right.
Now, where do your visitors come from? Are they local?
Actually,
Are they
all over the country, all over the world. I had a woman come in from Japan who had purchased one of my bags in a gallery in Japan. And it was like so fun having her come in. You go, where are you from? She goes, I have one of these purses, and we go through that. But my purses are sold all over the country, so people come in and sometimes they're familiar with them. So I get people from everywhere. I have a good local base from being here so many years, and I design the clothing, the jewelry, lots of handbags. And so I had a show at the Tampa Museum of Art. Lots of people came wearing them. So I have a good base, but I love the mixture in Ybor of having the tourists here. They're coming to visit. There are visitors to our city. They come in, the locals come in, and the locals tell them where to eat. And they get this feeling of just welcoming here in Ybor. They always say there's a sense of welcoming.
Now, I used to live on Davis Island, so I'm very familiar, and you had your shop over on Davis Island. Now your shop is here. Now, you just mentioned that you live here in Ybor as well?
I live 2 blocks up, and so I'm on the board for the chamber, I'm on the board for the Ybor City Development, so I feel like I'm more part of the community. I teach at HCC, classes I teach at the Art Institute, so it's really become much more of a local thing. For many years I was a designer in New York, but I mostly traveled everywhere doing designs traveling. This has become the first time I've had like the home or the community, and all the new people that have moved to Ybor in the condos, people renovating houses. We have a community association. It's become a community. And so, in fact, there's a meeting next week for that, for our Guavaween tickets and all of this. So it's a wonderful feeling of home and work for both, and entertainment of meeting all the people you meet that email you later.
Now, we just came before Deep Carnivale, Don Vicente, and we were talking about Halloween as well, and, you know, haunted hotels and everything else. But, you know, you are not only the only one of your kind here. There's so many other artists here in Ybor City. I mean, do you guys get together as a group as well?
Yes, I have a young man coming in today to talk to me about setting up a new area of studios, of painting studios. If you notice my front room there, I've turned it into my painting studio. I'm a designer but also fine artist, both. And so we're talking about making a community place where we can come and paint. And so you have that camaraderie, where I just was at a dinner last night and we started talking about it, and artists, and so there's this thing of exchanging information, and when there's galleries or shows, everybody turns out and everybody talks and everybody finds ways to further what they're doing.
So how do you go from pre-med to owning your own gallery?
Well, I did my degree in fine art, and in Italy. I studied in Italy, fine art and sculpture, drawing, art history.
Do you mean Italy or the Italian club?
Italy. But I love the Italian club. Somebody told me I'd find a husband there, but I haven't yet.
It's
but
still
this
open.
woman says, go to the Friday night cocktail parties and you'll find a husband. I haven't, but I've learned to go there every Friday night. It's like community.
I love
Even
going
the
there.
Italian restaurant owners go there on Friday night to eat, you know, just because of the camaraderie, and everybody can't miss Friday night at the Italian club. And I get to speak a little Italian there. But I ended up being a designer. I've been in New York doing the shows, and I really was ready for a transition, and I looked all over Florida. I have children here. Couldn't find a place, and my daughter said, go look in Tampa. They have old houses. You'll like it. And I came here, looked around, ended up on Davis Island, and one day I peeked in this window when I came to the fresh market, and I'd come to Ybor all the time to eat dinner, but I hadn't thought about being here. And when I looked in that window, I knew this was it. And from then on, it was a done deal.
Don't you love being Ybor? It has history, architecture, culture, arts and entertainment, shopping. It has everything.
It has everything, and I feel safe. And of course, being as a mature lady, we're not going to say older, mature lady, is I walk all around at night. I walk home. I take the last night I caught the streetcar down, and they just stopped and picked me up, and I came on down. But I feel comfortable, and my children come, and they love sitting up on 7th Avenue in the evening, and they love being here, and they think it's the coolest place, but they think it's a good, safe place for me. So I thought that's a good thing for Ybor, when your children don't mind if you're older and you live here. I thought that's a whole new thing. We know younger people like to come, but the whole idea that I think it will, and it does draw a mixture of ages, and I think that's one of the most successful things about it.
I do too.
There's
I think
a
it's
mixture of
very
ages
unique.
here.
Ybor City grabbed my heart. I moved down here from Buffalo 13 years ago because of Ybor City.
Oh,
So
okay.
I feel the same way as you do. Yeah. And I am noticing your beautiful necklace.
My necklace, yeah. And you know what? I was just looking at your shirt while we were standing there, and I thought, you know what? I have something just the right color. If you can flip it
Well,
out.
I had to dress myself today. La France usually dresses me, but I had to dress myself.
But
so
this almost
I
looks
appreciate
like
the
it was
help.
made to go with it. It has the gold, it has yellow, it has that. But when I do them, they're not symmetrical. Like just, well, this one's
This is your
symmetrical.
piece?
Yeah, this is one of mine, and it's sort of one of my signature pieces of coral and glass and some 14-karat gold and some silver and stones. And this one is, I call Frida Kahlo, The Artist Meets Japan, which has this wonderful little hand-painted pictures. And I buy these.
Which one is there? Frida's not on
No,
there.
no, but it's her style. This silver looks very Mexican.
And I
and
love
it's the
her
kind
work.
of thing where she put her hair up and put flowers in it as an artist. And then, and I'm enjoying teaching art history for that. But it has stone, and these are little porcelain beads from Japan from the 20s, I think, that I buy in New York. So I have mixtures of things I mix with them. Each one's a little different. They're all eclectic. And this sells for like $29, and I think this is $44. So they're very affordable pieces. And so people, when they like them, they can afford them. That's
Well,
the good
I like
thing.
unique pieces, especially at affordable prices.
Yeah, that looks really good on there. I'm thinking,
Oh,
it looks
thank
like people sometimes in the store say, oh, did you make this to go with that? And I go, no, I just do combinations and colorways, and then it sort of fits for that. Looks good.
Well, you are very talented.
Thank you.
And again, thank you so much for talking
Love
with
being
us.
in Ybor.
And we love you on the YCDC board.
Thank you.
You bring
Thank
so
you.
much to the community.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you for you being in Ybor, too. Every time I meet someone, I'm just saying, there's another wonderful person in Ybor.
This is the end of today's show. Come on down to Ybor City and visit for yourself all the unique places and things we have to offer. I'm Veronica Switek with Ybor Flavors.